How two-faced are these people? When they need you, they call you sweetie, but when they don't, not even a carefully patched-up cactus is spared. This is the plight of the cochineal insect in Oaxaca. Hundreds, even thousands of tons of these valuable little creatures aren't as easy to come by as you might think. If you ask locals to name their favorite plant, 99% would say nopal. As the saying goes, better to have a thief admire your goods than steal them. Nopal has become Mexico's very own black gold. Every spring and autumn, nopal pads are harvested, ready for a second life as cuttings. But not every pad gets a second chance. Cuttings need to come from mature, undamaged growth. Any wound is a welcome mat for pests and disease. For fungi, these succulents are a feast. To give them a fighting chance, the cut pads are soaked in medicine. This helps prevent infections before roots and shoots develop. Then, they're planted in furrows and fertilized. Nopal is hardy, sure. But it needs the right conditions. And the right variety. There are many types of nopal. Not all are edible. What's planted depends on its purpose. Take this type, for instance. It's grown for cochineal insects. Too tough and fibrous for human consumption. Destined to be livestock feed, it's chopped and served to sheep and goats. No lush pastures here. Just a hearty nopal meal. But the nopal we eat needs to be tender. Have you ever seen a cactus farm under a roof? This protects the young pads from the elements, keeping them soft. In the world of cactus, the cochineal insect plays a vital role. So some nopal is cultivated just for them. A large surface area means more bugs. Soft, moist pads are perfect for drying without becoming too brittle. Just the right environment for the cochineal to flourish. Enough for feed. In the right conditions, nopal grows quickly, sending out new pads. Even with antifungal treatment, some will soften and rot. It's not bad farming, it's just those tenacious fungi. Damaged parts are removed, and the wounds treated with ash. A month later, the cactus is healthy again. But these untimely cochineal insects are a nuisance. When they show up, they have to go. In less infested areas, a quick scrub is all it takes. Cochineal cling tenaciously, but they're not very good at defending themselves. Hence, the crimson camouflage. Of course, on a large farm, you need more firepower. Water jets wash away the intruders, to prevent their return. Proper watering and fertilizing are crucial for a healthy crop. But what about these bandaged cacti? This isn't for healing. It's for forcing the cactus to flower early. Normally, it takes years for a nopal to flower and fruit. But not these. A year is all it takes for tender, edible pads to develop. Harvested while the skin is still smooth, these nopalitos are packed with tiny spines. But the real threat is the nearly invisible glaucids. They're a real pain. Luckily, thornless varieties are available. The harvest is packaged and shipped to market. Climate plays a big role in food availability. In Mexico, nopal is as essential as cabbage elsewhere. Affordable and delicious, it can be cooked in countless ways. Nopal grown for cochineal farming takes a little longer. While it looks like cochineal damaged the cactus, those who farm them know it's a tough business. Cochineal farming comes in two forms: open fields and sheltered environments. In Oaxaca, where the practice has been perfected over generations, the insects are now almost entirely domesticated. Out in the wild, you have to rely on luck. Farmers carefully scrape the eggs from the pregnant females and package them in little permeable sacs. These are then attached to new cactus pads. Stimulated by the new environment, the insects quickly reproduce. The newborn nymphs are tiny, barely visible. They burrow into the soft flesh of the cactus, secreting a waxy coating. This protects them from the harsh desert sun. Indoors, the process is similar, but with more control. Here, cochineal can reproduce year-round. Cleaned cactus pads are placed in sandy beds, or hung to dry. Cochineal insects are introduced, spreading as they please. Each female can lay hundreds, even thousands of eggs. These tiny red specks hatch in just a few hours, into cochineal nymphs. They instinctively seek out the softest parts of the cactus to feed, and rapidly produce the waxy coating to protect themselves. Having laid her eggs, the female's life cycle comes to an end. But even in death, she's valuable. The dried insects are a rich source of pigment. New nymphs are nearly invisible to the naked eye. You need a magnifying glass to see them. They're here for one reason: to reproduce. To give these tiny creatures a safe haven, shade nets provide relief from the heat and insulation when the temperature drops. They're sensitive to temperature extremes. And it's not just the elements they need protection from. Predators like ladybugs pose a constant threat. After several months of careful nurturing, it's harvest time again. Though they seem numerous, the yield is small. Not many cochineal farms turn a profit. It takes 70,000 to 80,000 insects to produce just 1 kilogram of dried cochineal. A single pad yields only about 2 grams. The insects are brushed into a container, gently rubbed to release the pigment, sifted to remove impurities, and then dried. Once dry, it's ground to a fine powder, ready for market. While cochineal dye and synthetic carmine are both red, they're not the same. Cochineal is natural. Carmine is man-made. And you probably encounter it more than you realize. From foods and cosmetics to pharmaceuticals and textiles. To prevent inbreeding, some insects develop wings. Once mature, they fly off to other cacti, starting the cycle anew. After months of meticulous care, it's time to harvest. Though numerous, cochineal yield little. Not all farmers profit. Workers brush the insects off the pads, gently rub to collect the pigment, sift out any debris, and spread it out to dry. Once dry, it's ground into a fine powder, ready for use. While the uses of cochineal dye and carmine are similar, they are distinct. Carmine is synthetic, while cochineal is a natural pigment. While you may fear insects, you needn't worry. Many can't afford this product. This stable, tasteless dye is used everywhere. While bugs might make you squeamish, rest assured, most of us can't afford products containing pure cochineal. What's more, these tiny creatures play a big part in the ecosystem, feeding other insects and birds. Cochineal farming also supports local communities and traditional practices. So next time you see that vibrant red, think of the tiny insect behind it. Thanks for watching.